Welcome to Overtime with Jared P. and Johnny O, episode 95. And we got a good one we're going to talk a little bit about the Carolina Hurricanes dominating the Eastern Conference playoffs so far. NBA playoffs, the big story with the Knicks and Wemby is just must-see TV for sure. And this 76-team March Madness proposed bracket is actually going to happen. So we'll get into that a little bit. But first, let's talk about our title sponsor, Elite Performance Chiropractic, with former professional football player Jeremy Phillips as the owner and chiropractor there. Get you feeling better than ever, whether you're 8 or 98, get you back out doing the things you love the most, and with state-of-the-art technology and techniques he learned while in the NFL, and of course advanced techniques that he continues to learn through training. So Elite Performance Chiropractic, 2 locations in the Triad. All right, Johnny, let's shout out our Carolina Hurricanes, undefeated in the playoffs.
They are, man. 8-0, man. They disposed of the Ottawa Senators in the first round, 4-0. We're not going to lie. We don't know a whole lot about hockey, but man, when your local team, and they are really the only local team that professional team that actually does anything, they give us something to cheer about. Come playoff time, I do watch them. Do I watch the entire game? No, I don't. But man, I watch a lot of it because it really is a very exciting sport. There's no doubt about it. So, them going 4-0 over the Senators, that was sort of expected, but then they just flew through the Philadelphia Flyers 4-0. So they're like the Oklahoma City Thunder of the NHL because they're 8-0 in the playoffs and smelling the Stanley Cup. They won it quite a few years ago. And I mean, just the Stanley Cup to be won, here, in Carolina would be, really, really special. And the reason why I'm mentioning and why we want to do a little shout out for these Hurricanes is one of our avid listeners, Mark Brooks, I call him Brooksy. He lives up north. He's a hockey sensation out of Niagara University. Every time I send him, our podcast, he'll say, "No NHL playoff talk? Are you kidding me? You're I want to say Panthers. Your Hurricanes are doing great." So we had to talk about it. This is for you, Brooksy. What do you got, Jared?
Well, I like that we're doing segments for one person. I love that. No, no, I mean, it's been very impressive. Let's see if they can keep it going they're going to have to wait for a while. And, it'd be cool if somehow they can sweep through the entire playoffs. Love to see them win the Stanley Cup. I remember when the Carolina Hurricanes came to this area, and at first they played in Greensboro while they were waiting for everything to get ready, in Raleigh. And so did I take advantage of that? No, I wish I did when they were here for approximately 2 years, right? And so
it was first 2 years.
And you got this great hockey team down the road in, where we live in Greensboro, knowing it was going to go to Raleigh, but I didn't really take advantage of that. And I've been to a few Hurricanes games, and live hockey is sensational.
Terrific. Absolutely. Always try to get to 1 or 2 games a year. Kim and I usually go. And the crowd, I mean, they are so into it. And you notice, because I know you're a basketball fan, and I think we've mentioned this before, there's not a lot of timeouts. It's just pure action. They constantly are going, and the speed of the game is just mind-boggling. And the hitting these are big athletes. So, I think they're getting enough credit, in the last quite a few years, but I tell you what, they're some of the greatest athletes in all sports, these hockey players.
Absolutely. So we'll be paying attention to the Carolina Hurricanes going forward in the NHL. All right. Do you want to thank our other sponsors before we get into the NBA playoffs?
Yeah, let's do that. We got, Estate Jewelry and Loan, something old, something new. Estate Jewelry has a great selection of new and estate jewelry, and you can really find a nice, unique piece in Brian's showroom. His showroom is over off of Battleground Ave at 2511 Battleground Ave. And you can also go online to estatejewelryloan.com to see what he's got. And please bring in your diamonds, watches, all your gold and silver. He's paying top dollar for that. And then we got Salsarita's Fresh Mexican Grill, located in High Point at the Palladium and in Greensboro in the Target Shopping Center on New Garden Road. Miguel over there has got a food truck, catering, daily specials, and you can go to salsaritas.com to check out their delicious menu. And then For Real 24. Excuse me. I got the allergies going today.
Uh-oh.
Real golf indoors anytime. Greensboro premier 24/7 indoor golf facility offering iconic golf courses and state-of-the-art equipment. Dynamic hitting area has a moving floor, ball retrieval, auto tee, and multi-surface turf simulating fairways, deep rough, and even bunkers. And it's all indoor. Check them out over on Horsepen Creek and Battleground. And go to forreal24.com to see what they got. And if you go over there, please tell them that we sent you. Tell Clay Jordan, a great guy, and he's the owner of that beautiful facility. That's it.
Excellent. All right. The NBA playoffs, we at first thought it was going to be a snooze fest. Talked about that last week. The first round, a bunch of 3-0s, 3-1s, and then all of a sudden we got a bunch of 6-7 game series. And now, we have one team or two teams that are, one series away from the NBA Finals, in the sense that the Knicks, swept the Sixers, and they've been on fire ever since they made the adjustments in the first round. And then they haven't lost since. They're scoring a boatload of points, and they look like a totally different team. And they look like a team that could win an NBA championship. The New York Knicks, who would have thought, after firing their coach, and there's a controversy around that, and you brought in a retread and Mike Brown, and they didn't get off to a great start. There was rumblings he might get fired at the end of the season. And then in the first round, it looked like they might get an early exit, and they put it together. They won in 6, I think, but it wasn't looking great at first. It was 6 or 7, but they started giving Cat the ball, let him handle the ball at the top as a point forward, point center. We talked about that. And I feel like that's made all the difference, opening up that offense.
Yeah. Cat is kind of acting like the Joker now, kind of doing a little bit of everything and kind of relieving Jalen Brunson of all the dribbling and stuff like that. And Brunson is just a superstar. And when you said, they're on fire, I mean, we got to come. What's another word? Because they are beyond that, man. I mean, They don't miss right now. They brought in a guy. I don't know if you were watching. I think it was the deciding game, because that Okanobi or whatever, he's hurt, and they bring in this Miles McBride. Okay, he goes 7 for 9 from 3-point land, scores 25 points, and he was like the 7th or 8th man off the bench on the Knicks. So everybody is clicking. They're hotter than hell. In that same game, I looked, because it just seemed like they weren't missing any shots at all. They were 25 for 44 from 3-point land, 57%. How do you can't beat that? And they're playing defense.
And to me, whether it's the Knicks or the Cavs, the Cavs or the Pistons. At this point, I would say the Knicks are going to move on to the NBA championship with no doubt in my mind. They will play for a title this year.
God, I hope they do. It's time.
It's been since 99 with Ewing, since they've been to the finals?
Been to the finals, and then it was 73 when they won. I mean, what's that? 27, 20, it's 53 years.
Right.
They have, and it's New York, and you probably notice all the stars are out. They're all at the Garden. Or actually, they go to the away games, man. All the celebrities for the Knicks.
Yeah.
All their
Philadelphia got embarrassed in Game 4, where there's more Knicks fans there than Sixers fans.
There sure was.
Maxey was like, he admitted we got to play better. He said, but that's not a good feeling when you have more fans. He said it was louder than the Madison Square Garden in Philadelphia. Shame on Philadelphia fans for not showing up. I mean, I guess they figured it was over, but geez. That's terrible.
That's interesting. But now this might be their time, and get Anunoby or whatever, OG Anunoby back. They just can't afford any injuries. I just hope they can flow right through it. And Cleveland and Detroit are not going to be no pushovers. I mean, I would think that, it would probably either one of those teams would go 6 games with the Knicks, possibly in the East Conference Final. But I think the Knicks do prevail, and I am begging for. Well, I'm not, because OKC. We don't even talk about them enough. But I want the Spurs, and Spurs haven't even won this over Minnesota yet. But I'm just dying for a Spurs Knicks final. I think that would be. I think that would bring a lot of fans back to the NBA to put their eyeballs on some of that basketball.
Well, Wemby is the most exciting player in the playoffs. I mean, he's just a sight just to behold. 7'4", thin. Every time he gets fouled, I'm like, he's going to break, But he plays tough. He obviously got suspended for hitting Naz Reid with the elbow to the face. He's lucky he didn't he got tossed. Lucky he didn't get suspended for their last game. But the series would probably be over if he didn't get knocked out of that game or kicked out of that game. But man, he can shoot, he can pass, he can play defense. He changes so many shots.
Yep.
What do you have? 17 rebounds last game, 16, 17?
17 rebounds. I mean, he just reaches over those guys. And he's, he doesn't look strong, but he is strong, man.
Yeah, he's out there pushing and shoving, yeah.
And, I think I texted you last night. I think when that game was on, or the night before, I guess it was last night. I mean, when he came out from suspension, from getting kicked out of that game, thank God he wasn't suspended. He comes out and scores 16 in the first 5.5 minutes of that game last night. I'm like, I mean, we're watching a freak of nature here at 7'4".
Absolutely.
He just did everything. He's hitting threes. He's dunking. He's, spin moving, dribbling between his legs. Jared, he's 7'4". What the hell is that?
Oh, he had one on a fast break where he caught it, one dribble behind his back, and it was a little bit off out to the three-point line, and it ended up being a turnover. But the fact that he's even just being able to do that is just is phenomenal. I mean, Wemby is definitely box office. I mean, he's somebody you have to watch play. My concern, and I was telling my son Eli, because he was saying, well, do you think he'll have this record or that record, or what about this, that? I just worry at 7'4", eventually those ankles and knees go, but maybe not. I hope not. I really hope he plays 12 to 15 years plus at a high level.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And hopefully they got, whatever trainers, just make sure all those bones are in place. And I mean, look at LeBron. LeBron spends over $1 million just on his training, to get to where he's at. Wembanyama's got to do the exact same thing, and more probably. Because, I mean, he does look like he can just snap in two, man, at times.
Right. Now, for real. Now, speaking of LeBron, the Lakers, do you think he'll be back with the Lakers next year?
Yeah, and again, I'm a Laker fan. My son's asking me. I don't know. I think so. And that will be his last year. It's got to be, I mean, even though he averaged 24 and 7 this year, I mean, he's 42 years old. But, for him to go to another team, which, he's used to doing that, but everything is in LA for him, all his businesses and it's LA. So I think he stays, and I think it's his last hurrah, and they do something, because they will have some money. No, they won't have any money unless if he leaves and if Reeves leaves. But I don't know. I think they got a tough decision, but if he wants to come back, you gotta let him come back. And the only way they let him come back is if he says, this is my last year. I want my last year to be here in LA.
Okay. Yeah, because I think physically he could play at a high level for another 4 years, probably. I mean, he is just, but yeah, I think there's no chance he retires. Zero. I think we both agree on that. I think he'll be back with LA. They're talking about Reeves is up for a max extension where they'll pay him $50 million a year. And then, there's no money. And then you have Luka, him, and LeBron. Somebody's going to have to not take a max contract. And I don't see LeBron not taking a max contract unless he's just you're a billionaire, but it'd be smart if he didn't, and they can have one last hurrah. I think if Luka plays, well, if they ran into OKC, I don't think it would have mattered, but maybe it would have been a longer series.
Yeah, no, it would have made a difference a little bit.
If they would have made it to the Western Conference Finals, depending on seeding, if they didn't face OKC in the second round. I mean, Luka makes such a huge difference. So
33 points a game, that sat on the bench, 33 a game. And probably his best season of his career, to be honest with you. And he was in shape for the first time,
Right, exactly. So, I mean, it makes a huge difference. I felt like a lot of sports commentators were kind of just like, well, the Lakers need to rebuild and all this stuff. It's like, they've got the pieces, but yeah, they do have decisions to make when it comes to money because these people with the max contracts. All right.
But, just back on that, 43, he'll be 43. We've never seen anything like this, I guess. And they were saying on the some of the talking heads, I think it was Stephen A, I mean, how do you not, if he wants to go to a different team, which is a possibility, how do you not take him even if his name isn't LeBron James and they say, hey, this guy this past season played 72 games and he averaged 23, 7, and 7. Would you like him on your team? Of course,
Right.
So it's going to be a tough decision, but I hope he doesn't drag it on. I hope it isn't a whole summertime thing. Is he coming back? That's what friggin' our idiot in the Pittsburgh Steelers, Aaron Rodgers. That's what he's doing right now to that team. I'm hoping. I'm not to change subject, but I'm hoping the Steelers. I think. Why are the Steelers putting up with that? I mean, maybe he's already told them, yes, I'm coming back, but just, let me come back when I want, so I don't have to go to the OTAs or whatever and all that crap. If he's holding out on them, how do they not just say, go somewhere else, man? I don't understand the babying of Aaron Rodgers.
I get it. He's a superstar. I know he's on the down end of his career. He had a pretty good season last year. And then year two, I mean, it's hard to find a good quarterback, and you find one, and they as you see many times in the draft, people overreach for certain quarterbacks. So they're like, oh, this guy's a 3rd round talent, but we're so desperate we'll pick him up at the end of the 1st round or whatever. I just think you have a known quantity that is going to be competent and can make all the throws. That or who else?
Yeah. No, I know.
But it is annoying because he learned it from Brett Favre. Brett Favre used to do this stuff where wait and see. He's had a very similar career to Brett Favre with the 1 Super Bowl, some controversy, and obviously a bunch of MVPs. And then every offseason, you're like, what is he doing? What is he doing? And then switching teams and different things. So, I mean, unless he went to Minnesota, which isn't going to happen now with Kyler Murray, he's going to be in Pittsburgh. And he'll start next year.
I'm starting, and we'll talk about football. We got a lot of football to talk about over the summer. That's coming up. I mean, I kind of miss talking football, but I think Kyler Murray is going to have a breakout season in Minnesota, man. I really do. There's something about him. If he's healthy, he's a little spark plug, and with that Minnesota team, look out for that. What NFC North is going to be tough this year.
Absolutely. And then with Kevin O'Connell was such an offensive genius, and with Justin Jefferson, and they've got all the pieces. They just need a healthy quarterback. And so, I agree with you on that. I think it's going to be really fun to watch.
Absolutely. All right. Well, what do you think here? Next segment, this I want to get your thoughts right off the bat. Big Carolina fan, NCAA, March Madness is still fantastic. 76 teams now. Tell me why.
Okay. We already know the answer why. I know your thoughts on it because before we got on, when you said something, I'm like, I know how he feels about this, but I'll let you say your own piece. When you hear it, the first thought is like, okay, so let's have everyone make the tournament. Let's just make this the feel-good story every year. Every team makes it and not special. My thought on it is that the tournament didn't get hurt by going to 68. It used to be 16. Think about that. Years ago, 16. And then, then it expanded, and you had to, then you had to win your conference to make the tournament. And March Madness was fantastic this year. And so adding these last teams to get in, none of these people are going to do much. I mean, it's rare. It's rare. Sometimes it's happened where like the playing game's always been a little bit confusing to me, and then like the 11 seed, and you have so that stuff I don't understand because we've had some of those teams make it further into the tournament, but these additional, what I'm saying, the teams that are technically the last, now we're adding 8 more teams. What are they going to do? They're not going to do anything. So, and you have what, more conference, the bigger conferences. I am for it because I love basketball. Another little extra games to watch where the games will start on Monday now, I guess. So fine with me. And they're doing it for money. We know that.
So it's actually, because it was 64 teams before they added the play-in games and all,
Right.
So now, I mean, if you look back, so that's 12 extra teams. And it does give you extra basketball to watch, so they are going to play Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday or whatever. However, those 12 teams are going to play it out to get to Thursday and Friday, which are the 2 greatest days of the sports year, those Thursday, Friday games. We know it's about money, obviously, but, 2 things. Are you really earning your way into the NCAA tournament? So if, well, you know what? I'll use my goofy team, but they're on their way up because they got a new coach. But let's say Syracuse goes and the ACC goes, what do they play? 18 games, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it 18? Yeah. So they go 7-11, and they go to the freaking NCAA tournament. That's what you're going to get. SEC teams are going to be 6-12 going to the tournament. How is that earning your way into the big dance? And that's where I'm going to have trouble, and I think the initial thought is, well, the mid majors are going to be going. Well, no, not necessarily. This is a money thing. And they're going to want NCAA and whoever's putting all this together are going to want the Mississippis and this and whatever teams from the big conferences to be playing in that game so they can make money off of that 12 teams that are playing in. So you're not earning your way into the tournament anymore. It should be a privilege to be in March Madness. Now it's come on in, you're invited. I mean, it's it's like a frat party and you're not part of the frat. Yeah, you can come tonight, but that's it. I mean, no.
Okay. No, I think it's a very good points. I mean, it's, you want it to mean something. And so, I mean, it's kind of like the play-in tournament for the NBA, but that kind of turned out to be okay. At first, it was kind of like, you got 11, you got like basically every team has an extra game or extra game or two, almost every team, but they've had some pretty good games with that. But yeah, no, I take your point. You want it to be special, and it's getting less and less special. But more basketball, I love it. More basketball gives more people time to recover from their vasectomies, so that's good. And so
that's right. That whole weekend.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Well, now you probably have seen the headline. The football is thinking about going to 24.
Yeah.
It just keeps. I don't know. I mean, I hear myself and I sound like an old man saying, "Oh, I liked it. I like it the way it was," but earn it, man, earn it. And I don't mind the 12-team football. I think that was kind of cool, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. That's been that's been something.
That was good. But 24, come on. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe 16, maybe cap it at 16. However, yeah.
But why aren't they asking our opinion on this?
They should. They should do 76 teams in football. Just almost every Division I football team can make it. All right.
Well, real quick, you said earlier, why not invite everybody? So why not? You might as well now. Let's say you invite 200 and I don't even know how many Division I teams there are. Is it? I think it's over 300.
Well, I think 300 plus. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I guess you couldn't do that. But good stuff.
Get down to 150. I guess there'd be a lot of buys. And you get down to 75. Yeah. I mean,
that's a lot of basketball.
A long time. Yeah. So.
All right, man. Well, another good show. Hopefully we figured things out. Hopefully these big big money guys that are heading the NCAA hear us out here, and maybe they'll make some changes. Like we want the changes to be made. So we'll see.
All right. Until next time.
All right, buddy.
Overtime pay. We're talking the overtime play. The big stories, the big plays, the big drama. We